the Philippine electorate safe from harm in the process of increasing the quality of their voting experience. Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, world without end. Amen.
Roll call of members. I hear a motion to dispense with the calling of the roll.
Sabihin mo.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Vice Chair, Kong PD.
I most respectfully move to dispense with the calling of the roll call.
There's a motion to dispense with the calling of the roll. There being no objection, the motion is hereby carried. Reading and approval of the minutes of the September 2, 2021 meeting. Do I hear a motion to dispense with the reading of the September 2 meeting? And
Madam Chair,
approved. Yes, Vice Chair Kong PD.
I most respectfully move to dispense with the reading of the minutes of the last meeting, and at the same time, I most respectfully move for each approval.
There's a motion to dispense with the reading of the September 2, 2021 meeting and considered the same approved. There being no objection, the motion is approved. Comsec, please acknowledge our guests. I'm sorry, I will acknowledge the House members first before you acknowledge our guests. We have two vice chairs, Vice Chair PD Barsaga and Vice Chair Egay Erice, Congressman GP Padiernos, Congressman Lawrence Defensor, Congressman Kiko Benitez, and Congressman Michael Gariceta. Comsec.
Yes, ma'am. For today's meeting, we have the following resource persons. From the Commission on Elections, we have the main presenter, Director Esmeralda Ladra. With her are the following directors: Director Divina Blas Perez, Director Esther Villaflor Rojas, Director Alan Francis Abaya, and Director Lorenzo A. Reyes. From the PPCRV, we have the Executive Director, Ms. Maribeth Buena Obra, and Attorney Ron Gutierrez. From the Department of Foreign Affairs, we have Deputy Assistant Secretary Christian De Jesus. From the Office of Consular Affairs, we have Director Marie Chris Cheng. And from the Overseas Voting Secretariat, we have the Vice Chair, Mr. Zoilo Velasquez. From the Center for Migrant Advocacy, we have Ms. Bits Alcibar and Ms. May Villanueva. From NAMPREL, we have Attorney Emir Mendoza and the SecGen, Mr. Eric Jude Alvia. From Lente, we have Attorney Helen Grito and Ms. Jenica Zarina Mendez. Also confirmed for today's meeting, BBM, but to follow, we have Ms. Hazel Iligan, the Division Chief, Budget and Management Bureau, and Ms. Michelle Kalika, also from Budget and Management of DBM. That's all, ma'am.
Thank you, Comsec. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you to the 5th meeting of the Committee on the Preparations of the Comelec for the May 9, 2022 national and local elections. The first was in January of this year. Taking off from our meeting last Thursday, we shall focus on the 250-page draft of the new normal manual of the Commission on Elections for us to have a clear picture of what is to take place May 9, 2022, and before that and after that, and how safely our voters can exercise the right of suffrage. Thank you. May I now call on Comelec to discuss the draft of the new normal manual, please. Attorney, yes, Comsec. Comsec, nakamute ka.
Commissioner Antonio Co just arrived po.
Welcome po. So, sino po magpe-present?
I understand, Director Ladra.
Thank you po, Commissioner, for attending.
Thank you, thank you.
Attorney Ladra. Commissioner, wala yata siya.
Okay. Executive Director Bartolome. Gino Cruz. Is he here?
Parang nandiyan kanina si...
Papasok pa lang.
Director Elna, who will be making the presentation?
Hindi ko alam, sir. Baka si Ladra, sir.
Si Director Ladra. Director
Hello.
Ladra, are you in?
Go ahead, Attorney Ladra.
Hello, good afternoon.
Go ahead po.
I'm just using my cell phone because I really cannot join using my computer. I don't know. I have been using this is the third gadget already, but I am using my cell phone now. Ang problem ko, I cannot present my PowerPoint.
I think the committee has the manual. Maybe we can help. Comsec Debbie, pwede natin i-share screen from the committee yung manual because we have a copy of that.
Okay.
Yun sigurong presentation lang mismo, Chair. But I can see if I can make use of my PowerPoint, which I already prepared. But I will be using the cell phone, Chair. I cannot use my desktop. I cannot share my PowerPoint presentation. Can I just
Can you send it po to the committee para the committee will be the one to share the screen?
email? Yes, I will just email it po. Sandali lang po.
In the meantime, while we're waiting, I think we already distributed the manual to the members. Baka naman the members have some questions while we're waiting. Since Commissioner Ko is here. I think si Vice Chair Kong Egay may questions habang po naghahantay tayo.
Yes, ang unang tanong natin, Madam Chair, kung approve na ba ng Commission itong manual na ito?
Yes, can I answer, Chair?
Yes, Commissioner, go ahead po. Vice Chair Arice has the floor po.
Yes, na-approve na po ito ng NBank, ng Comelec NBank. But this is what was provided sa House is a draft kasi while this was already approved, subject to finalization as to style, no? Writing style at saka so we'll plan to release a final copy before the end of September. But this draft that was provided to you was already approved po.
Okay, because I have some comments on the feasibility of some of the provisions in the
Yes,
manual.
sir. Yes, Kong.
So, is there a possibility of still revising it?
Yes, sir. This is a work in progress, especially since what we are addressing here is the COVID situation. So we anticipate some changes along the way. We really don't know if the pandemic will worsen or it will be lessened as time goes by. So in the meantime, ganito tayo ngayon. Ito yung ating manual, but it can adjust. Later on, as we go along, the Comelec and Bank will come up with certain guidelines that would effectively change or upgrade the provisions of this manual. And we are, sir, very interested to accept suggestions and comments from third parties.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. Maybe we can wait for the presentation of Attorney Ladra before we ask questions on the specifics.
Thank you po. Thank you po.
Madam Chair, may I be recognized?
Yes, go ahead. Kong Nonoy, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Attorney Ladra, based on the guidelines you provided for rallies and gatherings, there is a provision there that states that subject to the local ordinances of LGUs, meaning the guidelines provided by Comelec will still be subject to LGU ordinances, and we cannot control what will be the standard or what will be the basic implementing ordinances. Will it be a common guideline for LGUs in terms of their ordinances? Kasi po, pag nag-iba-iba din ang mga ordinansa ang mga LGU, there are district-wide and province-wide candidates. So magulo po yan. Baka may iba silang monitoring guideline, may iba silang compliance guidelines. So maybe the Comelec can expound on this, na yung implementing LGU ordinances, at least may base man lang na guideline para common sa lahat. I hope you can consider that, Attorney Ladra. Thank you, Chair.
I think Attorney Lada is busy fixing her PowerPoint presentation, but maybe the Commissioner can...
Yes. Chair, if you may allow.
Yes, go ahead po.
Anticipating yung pwede mangyari later on, the IATF with respect to campaigns, rallies, the IATF may come up with certain rules applicable to a certain locality lang. Let us say NCR ganito, Luzon wide ganito, Visayas ganito, or even smaller areas. Kasi lately pinag-uusapan na yung granular lockdown, instead of a region-wide. So all of these public activities during the election shall be subject to IATF rules. Kasi yung IATF naman may local IATF sa mga LGU natin eh. So ito yung nire-refer dito. Kasi pag sinabi ng IATF, this certain area would be, assuming meron pa tayong classification ng MECQ or ECQ later on, So we have to follow those requirements.
Chair, may I be recognized, Chair?
Yes, go ahead, Kong Nona, you have the floor. You can just ask Commissioner.
Thank you, Commissioner. I ask that for clarification because it will be filing period from October 1 to October 8. Pag hindi po malinaw yung ating guidelines, lalo na sa LGU level, napakagulo po niyan. Please expect na kahit wala pa pong official campaign period, once the filing starts, obviously, iikot na at magpapatawag na. Ngayon pa lang, nagpapatawag na yung iba. I just hope that the common guidelines will be issued. Para po kasing poster at saka tarps. Pag hindi campaign period, magpapadikit na lahat yan. So, I expect na sa October, habang walang implementing guidelines for the official campaign period, lalo't magpapatawag yan mga yan at magpapatipon ng tao. And surely, magkaka-surge po tayo if we do not control the gatherings na election-related. So, thank you, Commissioner. I also hope that you can address the provisions on antigen testing. Yung participants dapat tested. How can we address, lalo na cost-related yan eh. At saka kahit lang po yung own ballpen, I am sure not all participants will have their own ballpen. Magpapalit-palit pa po sila ng hinahawakan na ballpen, and it's also a source of transmission. So even the small things that matter could help prevent a surge as early as October and November pagdating sa COVID. So thank you, Chair. Thank you, Commissioner.
Madam Chair, may I interject to the...
Go ahead po.
Yes, para isa na lang yung sagot ni Commissioner. Actually, kung wala kayong yung commission, kung wala kayong very specific guidelines, tapos aasa tayo sa mga local ordinances. Ang problema diyan, yung mga local officials, karamihan diyan kandidato rin. So, yan yung problema. So, yan yung problema kung for example, gagawa sila ng mga guidelines na madi-disadvantage yung mga opponents nila. Kaya dapat talaga yung guidelines hindi manggagaling sa mga sa mga local officials kasi mga
Tama yun.
kandidato sila mga
Tama
kandidato
yun.
sila. Mga kandidato sila kaya pag naging very lenient kayo na ang LGU maraming gulo. Maraming gulo na mangyayari. Kasi maraming, pati mga kandidato, kung sa tingin nila na hindi makatwiran yung mga ordinances na patutupad, hindi susunod. So, magkakaroon ng maraming kaguluhan kung hindi specific yung dito lang sa ating mga protocol sa IATF na pinalalabas, ang dami ng magulo. Pagkatapos kung ilang LGU sa buong Pilipinas yung bibigyan nyo ng kanya-kanyang karapatan para maglagay ng kanilang mga protocols, campaign protocols when they are also candidates. Parang ang mangyayari niyan, referee rin sila kasama ng Comelec. So they are players and at the same time referee sa isang laro. Kaya talagang yan yung nakikita ko dun sa inilagay niyong mga protocols. Second, lalo na yung mga incumbent local officials, they can always use as a guise yung mga programs ng gobyerno para magpatawag ng tao pero yung mga kalaban nila hindi naman pwede. So yan yung mga nakikita natin na problema kung hindi talaga very specific yung inyong meron pa yung for example, yung ayuda, yung mga local governments, pwede sila magpasa ng mga ordinances para mag-appropriate ng funds for actually, parang legal vote buying. Legal. For example, 1,000 per family ayuda using the government funds. So yan yung mga dapat na palagay ko pinag-aaralan na ngayon pa lang ng Comelec. At hindi pwede talaga na walang specific na susundin ng lahat whether incumbent or non-incumbent officials, non-incumbent candidates. Thank you, Commissioner.
Salamat po.
Nandiyan na yata yung presentation. Commissioner, pwede nang mag-present si Attorney Ladra.
Yeah, if Director Ladra is ready already, Director Ladra, please.
Pasensya na po kayo kasi medyo nagkakaproblema po tayo sa may technical issues po ngayon. Nakita ko na yung presentation ni
Kim, palabas ulit ng presentation.
Tayo ba yon? Tayo ba nag-share or
Dinownload.
Si Director Ladra po yung nag-share.
Okay.
Can you hear me na po?
okay na po kayo?
Sorry. Hello?
Ano na? Pwede na po tayo?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes. Sige po.
Ma'am, is my presentation okay? Can be seen already?
Not yet.
Not yet, so I'll share again. Sandali lang po. Yung for presentation kanina, which one? For presentation. Hello, can you see it na?
Opo, sige na po. Opo.
Okay, thank you. I'm really very sorry. I've been trying since 12:30. But anyway, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, your honors, colleagues, and everybody who is now in this online meeting. This is actually to introduce to you our Comelec New Normal Manual. And I will only be giving you the salient points. Anyway, we have already furnished a copy to the Honorable Committee of this manual. Although, let me tell you po, sana, please bear in mind that this is just muna a draft manual. Hindi pa natin ito na-finalize, but we would like to present it for purposes also of maybe consultation with the Honorable Committee. And this is a product of the consultation also with all the Comelec officials. And we had a conference for this purpose. And we solicited from each of the process owners the electoral activities and even the functional work processes that we put in this manual. The reason why mahaba po siya because we also included all the electoral activities from pre-election day up to the post-election day, and also the functions of each and every office. So let me start now with its salient points. Okay. This is the overview. This manual was issued or drafted in compliance to our resolution, Comelec resolution. And we have this manual divided into two parts, the functional and the electoral. So of course, the functional are the work processes or activities relating to each and every office function. So that will be also guided in the performance of our administrative and operational functions. And in order also for the external stakeholders to know, not only the internal stakeholders, to know how we should operate and serve the public during the pandemic period. And of course, the electoral, the processes that the complete election cycle, the activities and the processes that are involved in our complete election cycle, such as the pre-election day, the election day, and the post-election day. The contents of this manual, we have the general provisions, the scope, purpose, legal basis, interpretation, and application. And then the chapter 2 and the glossary of terms. The third is the Comelec organizational structure and mandated functions. Of course, this is in order for everyone to check our functions, and this is per office. And then the general guidelines, we have the general standards and protocols and recurring work processes, which these processes are actually, we summed up into 4. The specific services, the available services, frontline services, electoral services, and the functional. And then the final provisions on the effectivity, updating, publication, and of course the appendices and the acknowledgement. For the scope, the Comelec New Normal Manual is formulated and developed in order to address the Commission's response to and in the management of all processes concerning our new normal activities, both during the pandemic and post-pandemic. And these are composed of a complete list of all Comelec work aspect, processes, and activities, the internal and external communication plan, the respective responsibilities of all departments and units concerned. And this is based on our resolutions, as I've said, number 10688, dated December 16, 2020. For our chapter 1, also, we have stated in our section 2 the purpose, that is to ensure CU, that is safe, effective, efficient, and uninterrupted services to our clientele, to inform and guide all stakeholders, both internal and external, on the proper health protocols and minimum health procedure or standard procedure to be observed under the new normal condition, in the performance of the mandated functions of the officials and employees, as well as the electoral actors, especially in the conduct of safe, free, orderly, honest, peaceful, credible, gender-responsive, and socially inclusive elections. For the legal basis, we have the IATF MEID Omnibus Guidelines, and we will also be basing on the issuances that they will be giving us every now and then, depending on the quarantine status of our country. The DOH Administrative Order number 2020-0015, dated April 27, on the subject Guidelines on the Risk-Based Public Health Standards COVID-19 Mitigation. We also have the Civil Service Memorandum Circular 18, Series of 2020, and the Civil Service DOH DOLE Joint Memorandum Circular number 1, Series of 2020. And the subject of this joint memo is on the occupational safety and health standards for the public sector. Of course, the Civil Service Memorandum Circular is very important, especially when it comes to our work arrangements during the pandemic. And then we also have our very own Comelec Resolution number 10688, and this is creating the Commission on Elections New Normal Committee. For our section 4, we put there the interpretation and application, which states all provisions in this manual shall be interpreted in favor of their applicability and feasibility in the actual implementation, including but not limited to the status of the community quarantine of the areas, the peace and order situation, climate change, and other factors that shall be necessary or necessarily considered in the implementation as regards in these protocols. In the event of any conflict of rules or guidelines, the interpretation shall ensure the protection of human rights. As such, the safety needs and well-being of the individuals shall prevail. And this is a quotation, a provision which we quoted from the DOH Administrative Order. For the general
Attorney Ladra, I'm
Yes.
sorry to cut you short. No, I saw that the power presentation is 81 pages long, so medyo mahaba po. Maybe you can.
I will shorten it, Chair.
Yes. Since we already got copies of these, so like these preliminary matters are already. We already have these in the manual that we receive, in the draft that we receive. So maybe you can go straight to the salient points.
Okay.
Madam Chair?
Yes, yes, Vice Chair Kong Egay.
Yes, I have a suggestion para ma-abbreviate din. Saka hindi ba pwedeng yung lahat ng mga political parties and other stakeholders sa election, mabigyan ng kopya nito, tapos mabigyan sila ng panahon para mag-comment. Lalo na yung mga political parties, baka may nakikita sila ng mga infirmities dito sa ano na to, sa manual na ito, ma-consider na kagad ng Comelec before its implementation. So maybe all political parties should be given copies and should be given enough time to comment at least before the end of the month kung may mga nakikita silang mga talagang malaking problema dito sa manual na ito, then the commission can act on that para bago nila implement fully by October, nakonsulta nila yung mga stakeholders, especially the political parties who will be participating in the 2022 elections.
Yes, Kong Egay. Comsec, can you please comply with the request of Vice Chair Kong Egay?
Yes, ma'am. Noted po.
So maybe we can go straight to the...
Madam Chair,
Yes,
my specific request is for the Comelec to issue a letter to all political parties to submit their comments doon sa kanilang, kasi sila naman ang sila naman ang nag-formulate nito, so para pair doon sa mga political parties and other stakeholders, baka may mga comment sila kasi sabi nga 251 pages, we don't have enough time to really study this all. Pero kung mabibigyan natin yung mga political parties ng kopya ng manual na ito at meron silang mga election legal experts, sila na mismo yung gagawa ng mga comments at makikita dito kung ano yung mga problematic na provision. Yung mga walang problema, hindi na matatalakay, pero yung mga sigurado ako na one way or the other, kung mabibigyan ng kopya at mabibigyan ng time, deadline, yung mga political parties to comment on this by the Comelec, makikita natin yung mga problematic na provisions dito. So that is a request for the Comelec, Madam
Sige
Chair.
po. Chair, Commissioner Ko, nandyan pa kaya siya?
Yes, Chair.
Narinig niyo po yung request ni Kong Egay, Arice?
Yes. Opo. Yes, yung suggestion na mag-distribute tayo ng copy ng budget, actually yung electoral side, no? I'll bring this up sa NBank namin. We'll have a regular NBank on Wednesday, every Wednesday. So I'll bring this up to them so that we could, ang target naman namin will release this before the end of September. Then if we can get them ready from various stakeholders, including political parties, that would be good.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
my problem with that, if you will implement the manual without consulting to the political parties, baka pagdating ng October 1, yung sa implementation na ito, dadagsana yung mga reklamo, dadagsana yung baka mayroon pa makarating dyan sa mga korte kung hindi natin mabibigyan sila kaagad na kopya at hindi kaagad hindi kaagad mapapag-usapan yung mga importanteng provisions. Especially alam ko yung rights ng mga electorate, rights ng mga candidates, baka may posibleng ma-violate kung strictly implement natin yung manual nyo. So mas mahalaga na before you implement it, mabigyan nyo na sila mabigyan nyo na ng pagkakataon na makapag-comment at makapag-respond din kayo dun sa kanilang mga complaints or comment. Thank you.
Anyway po, Commissioner, every Wednesday may meeting kayo, sabi mo. NBank.
Yes, every Wednesday po, may NBank po kami.
Yeah.
Chair, itong
Yes, po.
the reason why we approve the draft manual at ibigay po kayo ng kopya yung members ng House is part of our consultation process. No, as part of our consultation process, recognizing yung role ng House as well as possibly later sa Senate, we value your inputs, no? But we also would definitely would get the inputs of local political leaders as well political parties dito. So I'll just have to relay these matters sa NBank, and then we'll see, no, kung how to move forward on this.
Thank you po, Commissioner. Siguro ngayon we'll concentrate on certain areas. Bale, ang pinakamalapit na activity natin is the filing of the COC, the campaigning. Siguro we can go to the details of those.
Yes. May I
Yes.
proceed, Chair?
Yes, go ahead, Attorney.
Okay. On the filing of certificate of candidacy, actually, I have some major activities only here in the presentation. So on the filing of certificate of candidacy, but before I proceed, Chair, may I just also inform everyone to please take note that the Honorable Commission and Bank will still issue the different resolutions for each and every electoral activity in order to finalize everything.
Yes,
So,
of course. This is with regards to the health protocols, the one you're presenting now.
yes po, and also the procedure, because it's
Yes.
there that we put, of course, the implementing rules and regulations on our procedures.
Yes, that's understood, I think.
Thank
Sige
you.
po, go ahead.
Okay, so in the filing of certificate of candidacy, the aspirant completely fills up notarized complete Comelec prescribed COC with a 30 peso documentary stamp. Then on the date and time for filing, aspirant and companion or authorized representative prior to entry to venue undergoes rapid antigen test, temperature screening, submits a rapid antigen test result, which hopefully shall be negative, not hopefully, but it shall be negative kasi pag positive, hindi po pwedeng pumasok. And of course, the health declaration form na duly accomplished already. And we will not allow entry to a positive antigen result holder, yung may symptoms with yes answer, in any question in our health declaration form, with the first and second body temperature of 37.5 degrees Celsius, because the first checking, if 37.5, we will make the person rest muna for 5 minutes and then retake yung body temperature niya. If at the second body temperature scanning, he or she will still have a temperature of 37.5 or above degrees Celsius, then we will advise him or her to maybe have an authorized representative, or if he is the authorized representative, we cannot allow entry. So of course, we advise everyone to, as much as possible, file during these days or earlier their COC para sure po na makapasok po kayo. And then we will allow entry also for aspirant who passes, or authorized representative who passes with all the above requirements. So afterwards, when they will enter already the venue, we will proceed, or he or she will proceed with the personal filing of COC and CONA, if may CONA po. And then, on the last day, the aspirants queuing inside the designated area to file the respective COCs at 4:45. The receiving officer will have a consecutive numbers issued to those who are in queue, list their names, but only for those with complete COCs. And then he will call, or she will call the name one by one in the order they are in the list, and only those listed will be accepted.
Attorney Ladra, how many hours or days before yung test valid? Bali kailangan nakatest siya
Within 24 hours po.
24 hours.
So if you will file the day before, October 1, the day before, within 24 hours from the time na papunta po kayo doon sa venue, yung antigen test result will still be valid po for the purpose. For the can I proceed, please? For the aspirant or authorized representative, they should indicate in separate form the nominees' email addresses and mobile phone numbers with a statement that notices will be sent through their email address and or phone number provided by them. We would like also to inform everyone that we shall announce the venue of our filing of certificate of candidacy insofar as the national positions are concerned, because we are trying to get an open, bigger space, well-ventilated one, so that we can also have our protocols on social distancing, and especially on the fact that our filing will be very short only. After the filing, we would request all those who are filing to immediately leave the premises para po walang problema ng ating protocols. And then on campaigning, that would be all for the filing. And then on campaigning, the EID shall provide a platform. This is on e-rallies and live streams only, no? Because we have different modes of transactions insofar as campaigning is concerned. So we have the contactless, and we also the online, the use of virtual platforms or virtual meetings and rallies. And you can also have the live stream, and then you can also have the face-to-face. So for the e-rallies and live streams, the EID will provide a platform for a free live streaming of e-rallies of national candidates. E-rally airtime shall be allotted to each presidential, vice presidential, and senatorial candidate, as well as to each party list organization participating in the election. And then the live streaming of e-rallies shall be conducted every night, beginning February 6, 2022, on the official social media channels of the Commission. There shall be 3 presidential and 3 vice presidential 10-minute slots every night. In addition, there shall be 5 senatorial 3-minute slots and 10 party list 3-minute slots per night. The slots shall be assigned at random based on the results televised raffle of slots. The raffle shall take place on the 8th of January 2022. The e-rally live streams shall be posted on the Comelec's official media pages. During each live stream, the candidate will be all to see live comments to the live stream. The candidate may or may not respond to live comments. All e-rallies shall include a disclosure that identifies it as a political meeting or rally, confirms compliance with minimum health protocols, and providing the relevant date, time, and location information. For this purpose, a live stream on the candidate's social media platforms shall be considered a political meeting or rally. Recordings of e-rallies shall be submitted to the EID within 72 hours from the airing of the same. In staging an e-rally or live stream, no more than 2 candidates shall be physically present in the same location at the time of the live stream. Candidates may receive in-platform gifts and gain currencies, but shall not be allowed to give gifts to live stream audience and to run promotions and campaigns that will award in-platform gifts or game currency to platform users and live stream audiences. Gifts and game currency received need not be reported in the candidate's SOSE. For rallies, meetings, and other political activities, this is subject to the requirements of local ordinances on the issuance of permits. Any political party or any candidate, individually or jointly with other aspirants, may hold peaceful political meetings or rallies and other similar activities during the campaign period, with the following guidelines. A. An in-person campaign rally shall be organized for a maximum of 3 candidates. Each of the candidates shall have a campaign organizing staff not exceeding 10 persons. B. The maximum number of in-person attendees, including members of the media, shall be less than or equal to 10% of venue capacity. Compliance with attendee limits shall be the responsibility of the campaign organizing staff. C. The campaign organizing staff shall ensure that only persons aged 18 to 64 shall be allowed to personally attend any in-person campaign event. D. The campaign organizing staff shall be required to submit to the Comelec a statement of compliance with health protocols, conformably with Section 36 of the proposed implementing rules and guidelines. So we shall also be referring to the GI that will be, or the guidelines that will be issued for the purpose. E, if provided, individual seating should be fixed at a distance of at least 1 meter from each other or 2 seat widths apart in all directions. Before entry into the venue, all persons in attendance shall be required to accomplish and submit contact tracing forms, whether online or otherwise, copies of which shall be submitted to the Comelec office with jurisdiction over the venue within 24 hours from the conclusion of the political meeting, rally, or similar activity. All persons in attendance shall be required to wear face masks and face shields at all times, even when speaking. No refreshments shall be served. The organizers shall deploy designated COVID-19 marshals who shall continuously remind participants to comply with these guidelines.
Madam Chair? Madam Chair?
Yes.
May I be recognized, Madam
Yes.
Chair?
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead po.
May I just reiterate my request that the Comelec provide the base or standard guidelines for local ordinances that will regulate campaigns under these draft guidelines. And second, may I ask Attorney if it's possible for face-to-face rallies, nakalagay po dyan, it can be organized for a maximum of 3 candidates. Kung nasa local po tayo na setup, may kandidato, mayor, vice mayor, 8 konsihal, 10 na po agad yan. If we can organize only for a maximum of 3 candidates, i-divide mo yung 10 by 3, you have to organize the rally for 3 sets na naman po. So baka pwedeng you can organize a face-to-face rally with a maximum of 10% of the venue, pero 3 lang ang present at any given time para pwede silang mag-rotation. Hindi naman po hindi naman ganun kadami ang 10 kandidato kesa sa magpatawag pa po ulit yung set na naman ng 3. Baka pwede nyo po ma-consider yon na even if all the 10 candidates are there, idagdag nyo pa yung board member, yung vice governor, baka pwedeng yung presence lang nila at any given venue, baka pwedeng 5 para hindi po paulit-ulit ang papatawag ng rally, which would be a cause for unnecessary gathering and a COVID surge. So thank you, Attorney. I hope you will consider our suggestions.
Kung nonoy sa ibang LGU, it's 10 councilors. So it will
Yes, ma'am. Tama po. Sa cities, 12 po yung iba.
Yes.
So baka pwedeng rotation na lang yung presence nila o wala naman pong kamayan wala namang handshake. Okay lang naman kung 10 sila sa stage basta may social distancing sila. Anyway, 10% of the venue nasa harapan na nila Baka po pwede ninyong ma-consider yon, ma'am. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Kong Nonoy. Kong Egay, you have
Yes, Madam Chair.
Yes,
Madam
po.
Chair, for example, parang hindi ano yan, hindi realistic yan when it comes to highly urbanized cities. For example, Caloocan, ayan, Manila. Ang mga meeting diyan sa kalye. So how will you determine 10% capacity ng mga kalye? Ng mga kalye. Pangalawa, yung daanan yan. So may mga dumadaan, hindi naman pwedeng hindi na isolated yan. Otherwise, walang mapapag-meetingan talaga. Pangalawa, yung usually pagka yung mga LGUs hindi pinapagamit yan sa mga opposing yung mga gymnasiums, yung mga public spaces, hindi pinapagamit yan ng mga LGUs doon sa mga opposing camps. So ang opposing camps, laging ang venue niyan kalsada, kung merong private na lugar doon sa kanya-kanyang mga barangay or sitios. But mostly, sa experience ko, the past 12 years, I've been a candidate, lahat yan kalsada. Kalsada ang venue. So how can you implement in 10%? Sasarado mo ba yung kalsada? Wala ka bang padadaanin? So yan yung reality on the ground. Thank you.
Madam Chair? Madam
Thank you.
Chair?
Yes, Kong Nonoy, go ahead po.
Thank you. Attorney, baka pwede nyo din pong makonsider ang karamihan po ng mga caucus o rally ng mga kandidato. Meron po minsan yung pinapakanta, pinapasayaw, minsan po may nagdadala pa po ng artista. Pag dumating na po kasi si Coco Martin, sigurado po ang maximum na 10% ng venue. May dadaan po dyan. So baka pwedeng malagay natin sa guidelines na the intermission numbers, yung mga papremyo ng candy o mga pasayaw ng mga kandidato, pakanta, personalities na hindi naman po kailangan sa kanilang platform, baka pwede pong i-avoid na lang natin yun to avoid a surge of the crowd and unnecessary gathering na naman po yan at baka magka-COVID surge. Thank you, Attorney. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Kong Nonoy. Attorney, you're taking note of all these comments naman, no?
Yes po.
Yes, and Commissioner Ko, I think, is also listening. At least you also hear from the House members. Kasi kami, by experience po, yun po yung nangyayari talaga in reality. I mean, maganda po yung mga guidelines na ganito, pero sometimes it's not realistic. Yun nga yung minention na ni Kong Nonoy Defensor and Kong Egay Erice, may mga instances na paano nyo po makokontrol yung number of people. Kung Commissioner ko, ano po ang ninyo in controlling the number of people? Kasi nga may mga difficulties na na-mention na nila ni Kong Defensor and Kong Erice yung mga experiences nila.
Yes.
Madam Chair. Madam
Yes.
Chair.
Yes, Kong Kiko. Yes, go ahead.
Pakidagdag
Yes,
nyo na ng tanong, no? Commissioner, baka masagot nyo na rin. Bakit po 10% ang napili ninyong percentage of the venue? Hindi po 15 or hindi po 20 or even 30, which is the current IATF guidelines depending on the level of quarantine.
Okay.
Thank you.
Chair, can I?
Yes, go ahead, Commissioner po.
Yes. First, dun sa mga suggestions that were given earlier, that's we would consider them, no? Especially yung suggestion na to avoid getting yung mga ating mga singers or those who belong to the entertainment industry. Kung ma-avoid natin yon, we will avoid them. We will try to include them in our manual, no? Pangalawa, ang rule kasi po dito, when we approach this in preparing the manual, we're basically looking at a worst case scenario, no? Kasi subject to, this is basically, the manual is basically a work in progress. Napaka-fluid kasi ng COVID situation natin. So hindi natin talaga ma-anticipate what if a month from today or 2 months from today, ano mangyayari, no? So these rules were approved or were stated or propose based on a worst case scenario. So yung pong 10%, yung mga number of candidates, yun ho ang lagay namin to maximize the situation, no? But eventually as we go along, kung yung COVID situation naman would be better than today, definitely this would adjust. As nabanggit na rin na Director Ladra, along the way we will come up with rules and regulation guidelines up to the day of the election. Maglalabas ang Comelec, and those will necessarily amend what is contained in the manual, no? Kasi itong manual guidelines lang ho ito as of today, as of these few days, or as of this month. So papalit pa rin po ito. Depende na rin doon sa situation on the ground. So yung some 10%, it's really arbitrary figure, no? Arbitrary percentage, but on the worst case scenario, yun po ang nilagay namin muna ngayon, and tingnan ho natin later on how we can adjust it. Ang guidelines ho namin dito, kasi yung ITF really bawal ho talaga ang public gathering. Kahit saan kayo pumunta ngayon, bawal ang public gathering, bawal ang concerts, bawal yung mga ganyan. So the 10% figure is already basically a loosening up of the figures provided by IATF.
Thank you, Commissioner. So these rules will actually be amended accordingly, Commissioner.
Yes po, as we go along, no? Depende ho sa situation on the ground. Kasi ho, if assuming we come up with another variant which is worse than Delta, I expect our manual will be stricter. I hope the members of the House will understand Comelec if we'll get stricter if another variant will come out na mas grabe pa sa Delta. But if later on we can achieve the so-called herd immunity, and we see less transmission, less infection, you should expect also that we will loosen up on our rules.
Chair, may I be recognized, Chair?
Yes, Kong Nonay, go ahead.
Ma'am, Commissioner, okay yung 10% of the venue, but we can have a provision that it shall be a maximum of 10% of the venue, but shall in no case exceed maybe 50 or 100. Kasi po for cities and for highly urbanized areas, may mga venues po sila na thousands ang maka-accommodate. For example, the Iloilo Convention Center, if I hold it there, napakalaki po ng 10%. So maybe 10% of the venue but shall not exceed X number at any given time. And in my experience, may mga rally po talaga na napakahaba po magsalita ni Mayor o napakahaba po diskurso ni Governor. So maybe a limit on the speaking time of candidates would also reduce the gathering time and reduce the possibility of COVID. I hope you will consider that, Commissioner. Thank you, ma'am.
Salamat po. Director Raja, just take notes on the suggestions given.
Yes.
Yes, Commissioner, meron kasing venue na malalaki. So if you say 10%, di madami pa rin yung 10% of that venue. So yun nga, tama yung sinasuggest ni Kong Nonoy Defensor, kung pwede meron ding number na parang maximum.
Opo.
We'll take note of that po. And this is, and so far as the proposed guidelines pa po, the Commission will also, of course, issue as per information, of course, na sinabi ni Kong ko. We will come up with the guidelines before the campaigning will happen. And this will be posted in our website.
With regards to campaigning, are there any more suggestions from the House members before we proceed to the door-to-door campaigning? Bali yung nabanggit na po yung rallies, campaign rallies. So we'll go now to the door-to-door campaigning. Attorney, go ahead po.
Thank you, Chair. For the door-to-door campaigning, there shall be a maximum of 5 persons in a walkabout group and a maximum of 5 walkabout groups for each candidate. There shall be, depending on the size of the barangay where the walkabout is being conducted, there shall be a maximum of 5 candidates conducting a walkabout in the said barangay at the same time. There shall be no contact between walkabout groups and candidates, and each group shall strictly comply with the minimum health protocols involving face coverings and social distancing. Each group and candidate shall ensure that all interactions with the public shall be brief, transient, and with minimal physical contact. Each group and candidate shall be responsible for ensuring that the members of the public they interact with are also adhering to the minimum health protocols. Within 24 hours after the conclusion of this walkabout, the campaign shall submit, the organizer shall submit a statement of compliance with the health protocols pursuant to Section 36 of these implementing rules. Of course, the section is yet a proposal, so subject to the issuance of the guidelines later on by the Commission. The organizer of the said public meeting or rally shall submit an affidavit affirming that the appropriate health procedures or protocols have been observed. This affidavit of compliance with health protocols or ACHP shall be issued by the health authorities of the barangay where the public meeting or rally is intended to take place. That would be all for campaigning so far.
Sige, let's pause first and ask the House members if they have any comments or suggestions with regards to the door-to-door campaigning. Kong Nonoy?
Ma'am, I'm okay with the initial rules. Sana lang po yung affidavit of compliance, hindi po natin masisigurado. Magsasubmit lang po yan for the sake of compliance, and we still have time, so baka pwede po nating matignan lang ulit kung may madadagdag tayo in the future. Thank you, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Kong Nonoy. Sige, if there are no more questions from the House members up to this point, we'll proceed. Sige po, Attorney. Go ahead po.
Thank you, Chair. Now we'll go to the casting and counting of votes. This would be, of course, on May 9, except for local absentee voting and overseas voting na mas mahaba po yung ano nila before. But the casting and counting of votes, our guidelines for standards and protocols require all who enter the voting center, whether election workers or voters or whoever would enter the voting center, to wear face mask and face shield. That's at all times. There shall be no time at all na tanggalin nila yon. And then to bring pre-accomplished health declaration form para po hindi magdagsaan doon lang sa voting center na doon lang sila mag-fill up. We would like to, of course, give in advance the HDF para lahat po ng gustong buboto or pupunta sa voting center would be pre-accomplishing them before they go to the voting center. Para i-submit na lang po. All those who will enter the voting centers will also have to undergo at the entrance the not only wearing of face mask and face shields na i-observe dapat, but there will be a collection of the pre-accomplished HDF or health declaration form, and if there is any yes answer, then we said earlier that they will be maybe consulted or brought to the medical team and will be asked if they still want to vote. They can vote at our isolated polling place. And then conduct body temperature scanning. So the same, if at first entry, they would register a 37.5 degrees Celsius. The temperature, yun yung makita. Then they shall not be allowed entry. Pahingain po sila. And then afterwards, we'll get another scanning of their body temperature. And if pareha po pa din or above, then they would be advised to refer to the medical team, and they would be advised to vote if they want to in the isolated polling place. Kasi hindi po sila papasukin if ever. But the medical personnel will also be stationed in every voting center so that those who have symptoms or fever may opt to cast the vote sa IPP, and then may be given an advice to be brought to a facility if necessary. This is medical personnel na magsasabi po who will be stationed there.
Madam Chair.
Kong Nonoy, go ahead.
Attorney, good afternoon po ulit. May I know po what is the main objective at kung bakit kailangan meron po tayong health declaration form? Will there be any liability to a voter kung mali ang pag-accomplish niya o nagsinungaling siya? Will they check it one by one? I ask that because ang tingin ko po dapat pagdating sa botohan, the more efficient, the faster na gumalaw yung botante, the better po. Kasi very limited po yung lugar natin sa social distancing. Pag may additional po na burden sa isang botante na kailangang mag-fill up, na kailangang pumila na hindi naman pagboboto, mas matatagalan po yung voting time at mas marami po yung taong makokolekta sa isang presinto. Are we going to check the health declaration form and put any liability there na o baka pwede po nating ma-eliminate yon at temperature check na lang? Because if you go to the malls, if you go to the establishment, lahat po tayo may ina-accomplish, but I've never experienced na tinawagan ako o binasa ng guard o winarningan ako. So will there be any chance to make the voting more efficient, make maybe faster and less hassle po sa mga voters?
May I please answer?
Go ahead po.
Okay. Yung ating health declaration form is first for purposes of contact tracing, and especially at the time that the voting will happen, kasi nga po maraming tao, we would also like to know, of course you are expecting everyone to be truthful, but if you are not truthful in your health declaration form, then we cannot really do anything, not unless gusto natin talagang i-verify if there is truth. Pero preliminary scanning din yon, whether or not you have to be advised to vote in the IPP or the isolated polling place, kasi ang gusto natin very safe po yung elections natin, and wala pong isa sa atin na mahawa. Like for example, there might be a voter who just had a travel from other place. Siguro we would be very happy to know kung ilalagay niya yan. Pero pag hindi po, ang pinaka-purpose po kasi natin sa health declaration form is that yung ating pong mga botante will feel safe na wala talaga kahalubilo na may probability na carrier sila, although all of us are iniisip na carrier kahit yung ating members ng family, no? That's why we would like to be very careful with each other. So ito pong ating ginawa na health declaration form is for purposes not only of contact tracing, but to make sure na yung mag-yes doon would be advised to vote in our IPP para lang po safe tayong lahat. But we will take note of your suggestion po, and maybe when we will craft the GI, then we will be discussing whether or not to dispense with a health declaration form.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you po. And then, can I proceed, Chair?
Follow-up question.
Sige, Kong Egay, go ahead po.
Yes, medyo ano ko doon, medyo na doon sa procedure na yon. Kasi sabi, di ba, pinag-uusapan na nga natin, there are 800 voters per clustered precincts. And kung one-day voting lang, talagang medyo mabigat na yon. Pagkatapos lalagyan pa natin ng isa pang procedure, ano yan, lalong magtatagal. Yung purposes ng contact tracing sa mga malls, actually, pag nag-fill up ka sa mall ngayon, parang compliance na lang eh. Wala naman talagang nagaganap na contact tracing sa mga malls. Pangalawa, madali namang yung contact tracing sa mga presinto, madali yun. Bakit? Kasi kung merong isang infected sa isang presinto, di yung mga botante doon sa isang presinto na yun, madaling ma-identify dahil meron namang address, meron namang personal circumstances. Ngayon kung ang question na lang kung meron bang nag-travel, siguro yun na lang mga nag-travel, yun na lang meron silang declaration kagad ahead of the others para hindi na masyadong marami yung gagawa ng mga health declaration forms. Ibig sabihin, kung may submission ng health declaration forms, may magbibigay ng form, may magbibigay ng ballpen, may mag-check. Di ba? Yung contact, mas matindi pa yung contact doon. So medyo pag-aralang mabuti itong mga kasi parang ang nangyayari, we are just trying to comply with the IATF rules on contact tracing doon sa mga malls. Pero ibang-iba naman ito dahil yung mga botante naman alam na yung address alam kung sino yung mga botante sa bawat clustered precincts. Kaya ang request pa nga natin noon, kung pwede i-decrease yung number of voters per clustered precincts. Ngayon, kung dadagdagan pa natin ang procedure per clustered precinct, lalong madidelay yung voting.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Director.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. Good afternoon, everybody. Based lang sa experience natin doon sa Palawan, Madam Chair, need talaga natin na sa mga nagpapa-delay process is yung collection and submission declaration. So, coming vote, titingnan namin may mga instances kami na mayroong health declaration form at saka walang health declaration form para titingnan namin kung ano yung flow, alin ang mas ma-epektibo, alin ang mas madali, alin ang mas yung voting.
Napuputol po kayo, Director. Director, napuputol-putol po.
Ako, sorry.
Hindi po talaga maintindihan.
Madam Chair, can I just clarify po?
Sige, Attorney, baka you can...
I think Director Ednas is saying that there will be a to determine whether mas magandang merong health declaration form or wala. Pero let me just say po na ang health declaration din po is one way also of telling whether yung botante naka-experience ng simptoma before or during the time of voting. Thank you po. But we will take note of the suggestion po. And we will have to consider it during the segment.
Madam Chair.
Yes,
Madam Chair.
Egay, go ahead po.
Madam Chair,
go ahead
meron
po.
tayong time, di ba meron tayong schedule na time and motion na voting, time and motion voting?
There is going to be a simulation po.
When is that?
Sir ED, can you please give us the date?
ED?
Yes, ma'am. It will be on September 15. May I confirm with Dedo Elnas if that date will push through?
Director Elnas napuputol. Kung ega, alam ko 15 or 16 eh.
I'll try to confirm with Director Elnas, Madam Chair. Bye.
Okay. Can you inform before we end the meeting?
Yes, ma'am, I'll do that. I'll confirm with Director Elnas.
It is set on September 18 po.
Yes, Director.
The simulation is set on September 18.
Oh, iba-iba yung date. Pwede i-confirm nyo mamaya before we end the meeting? Kasi
19.
19 po, Sunday po pala.
19 po, 19.
Kung ega,
September 19.
Yes, sir.
So, ano to, buong voting center o isang isang clustered precinct lang?
There are, if I may, sir.
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. There will be 4 clustered precincts in the plan that will be the pilot precincts, no, in one voting center. So one voting center, 4 clustered precincts.
With 2.
But Madam Chair, don't you think that kung 4 clustered precincts, hindi naman yan yung actual na nangyayari during election? Ang isang voting center dito, hindi bababa ng 20, 30, 40 precincts. So, paano mo may compare yung presence ng crowd sa isang voting center kung 4 na clustered precinct lang? So, parang hindi representative of the real situation.
Vice Chair, pwede ko muna ipasa sa iyo yung sandali lang. I just have to turn off pasa ko muna yung floor sa inyo po. Kayo po muna mag-preside. Kung Egay, okay lang po.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Thank you po. Thank you.
Yes, Madam Chair. Good afternoon. So I will be temporarily taking over because of the problem of our chair, Congresswoman Terer. So yun nga po, may question dito. Bakit 4 clustered precincts lang ang ating simulation? Why not yung actual number of precincts per voting center? Para makita natin talaga yung real situation. Kasi hindi lang naman yung crowd sa isang presinto, yung sa voting precinct yung ating titingnan, pati yung crowd sa buong voting center. Can you reply, please?
Sir Dedo, may I request po? Kung okay na yung inyong connection.
Attorney Debbie, are we still
Ay, hello po,
hearing
sir.
each other?
Opo, sir, andyan po si Congresswoman Quaresma at saka si Congresswoman Abunda. Hello.
Yes, we are waiting
Attorney
for the reply
Ladra.
of Comelec.
Attorney
We are
Ladra.
waiting for
Ayan, si Attorney Elnas na lang. Attorney Elnas. Sir.
Yes po, ma'am.
Magpa-recognize na lang po kayo kay Chair. Chair Erice.
Yes,
ma'am.
there is a question here. Attorney Elnas, there is a question here. Why is it na yung ating voting na gagawin sa September 19, yung simulation, bakit 4 clustered precincts lang? Hindi naman yan yung reality ng situation during election. Sa isang voting center, napakaraming clustered precincts. So ang tinetest naman natin dito, hindi lang yung botante sa isang clustered precinct, kundi yung botante para sa isang voting center para makita natin kung ano yung magiging sitwasyon under a new normal.
Sir, 4 clustered precincts yun, sir, pero 2 barangay. 2 barangay, so that's 2,772 voters ang involved natin, sir. So, inaano namin yan, sir, kasi yung sa participation, tinitingnan na namin, sir, yung flow, yung flow ng voting natin, yung queuing, at saka yung sa pag-handle natin doon sa labas ng voting center while voters were trooped into the voting center. So yung 2,700, sir, I think at a given time, medyo masimulate na natin yung yung real situation, sir, with 2 barangays involved.
This is in Metro Manila, no?
Yes, sir, in Pasay, sir.
This is in Metro Manila, attorney?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, in Pasay, sir.
Okay,
Pasay,
okay.
Barangay 110 and Barangay 113.
Okay, and this will include the issuance of health protocols, declaration of health.
Ipa-factor in namin yan, sir, how fast will be the voters in a clustered precinct na mag-issue ng health protocol, health declaration, while the other one, walang requirement ng para makita namin yung difference, sir.
So, okay, may I reiterate my request, Mr. Chairman, that may we be invited personally in the simulation.
Yes, Madam Chair. Yes, Madam Chair, we will be sending.
Thank you. Thank you. Magulo yung connection natin. Yung magkarinigan. Is there any other questions?
Congressman Erice, sir?
Sir, nakamute po kayo.
I heard you, attorney.
We will be sending, sir, we will be sending the corresponding invitation once ma-finalize ito and ma-approve na ng project management at saka steering committee, the operational plan of this, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome, sir.
Nariyan na po si Chairman. Nariyan na po ba si Chairman?
Sir, wala pa po. Ituloy na lang po ni Attorney Ladra yung presentation.
So any other questions from other groups? Okay, thank you. Attorney Ladra, you can.
Attorney Ladra pa. Attorney Ladra. Dito pa ba si ma'am? Attorney Ladra.
Attorney Ladra.
Attorney Ladra. Ano ba yan? Tawagan ko na lang, sir. Hindi siya makontak, sir, eh. Chair, nag-busy po yung phone ni
Attorney
Attorney
Debbie, I don't think that we can continue with this kind of connection.
Kaya po, sir. Ang hirap. Attorney
Mahirap,
Ladra.
mahirap. Maybe we can, maybe we can reset the meeting.
Oh, baka po, sir.
I'm back po.
Yes, sir.
I'm back po. Kong Egay, thank you po for stepping in.
Okay.
For
Thank
me.
you, thank you. Thank you.
Yes, I heard that part when Kong Egay said medyo ang hirap ng connection natin. Maybe we can reset. Hindi tayo magkarinigan, hindi tayo magkaintindihan, no?
Opo, ma'am.
Oo.
Nawala na si Attorney Ladra.
I'd like to recognize before we continue our House members, Congresswoman Luisa Caresma and Congresswoman Fe Abunda, who is also here with us. Kung guys, siguro let's reset kasi ang hirap, no?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I agree. Medyo hindi naman natin naiintindihan yung mga sagot.
Siguro this is also because of the weather in Manila.
Yesterday.
Yun, masama yung panahon sa inyo.
Ma'am, medyo okay na dito. Kaya lang talagang yung internet connection yata.
Yeah. Siguro maybe we can reschedule na lang. Ang hirap hindi tayo magkaintindihan Commissioner ko, can you join us na lang? We will reschedule na lang. Talagang ang hirap po hindi magkaintindihan.
Yes, Chair. We'll be happy to attend the next hearing as you may schedule it.
Yes.
I will ensure the panel from Comelec will attend.
And maybe next time we can ensure that we have better we can go to an area na mas maganda yung internet connection. And if there are any House members who have any suggestions, they can also submit it in writing in advance before the next scheduled meeting. Kung merong mga gustong mag-suggest or mag-comment sa ating handbook, no, manual.
Chair.
Yes, Attorney.
I'm back, sorry.
Kaya nga, Attorney, we will just reschedule because hindi po tayo magkaintindihan and it's so hard to do this na hindi tayo maka-connect ng mabuti. So, is there motion to adjourn? Wala na yatang mga House members na nandito. I will just...
Yes.
Yes po. Nahirapan po kami sa connection. Kanina pa po napuputol yung connection. So
That's why I move, Madam Chair, that the committee meeting be adjourned.
Thank you, Congresswoman Caresma. We will just reschedule it and hopefully we'll have better connection next time. Thank you po for attending. Thank you po sa inyong lahat.
Sir, my apologies again, Chair.
Sige po. Thank you po.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you po, Commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you po.
Good afternoon sa lahat.
Good afternoon.
Thank you po.